for a person who experiences anxiety. So the first one is catastrophizing. And this is where we're in a current situation and we create a future-oriented story of disaster, catastrophe that almost always begins with the words, what if? So our mind immediately jumps to a story, and it is always a story of something bad that's going to happen, of some catastrophe or bad outcome. But then we relate to that story as if it's what is happening or what is likely to happen. And we get really caught up in the story and feel like we have to worry about it. We have to problem solve for it. The story feels like it's very real, when in reality, it is just a story. So anything that begins with the words, what if, everything that follows what if is a story. So this is people who, they wake up with a headache and think, what if this is a brain tumor and I have cancer? Or they call a friend and the friend doesn't call back and said, what if they're mad at me and they don't want to be my friend anymore? Or your boss speaks to you in sort of a short and impatient way and you immediately think, I'm going to get fired. So it's jumping to those worst case scenarios and then sometimes sort of really getting stuck in them and feeling like this is something real that I do actually need to worry about.
Okay. And what's the objection then in that when you catastrophize?
Yeah. So when you're catastrophizing, if you do the reality testing with, because what you were describing with, what you might do with your daughter is reality testing. Is this fear real? Is that really going to happen? The objection is that it will come back and say, but it could happen. And so if you try to reason with those catastrophe stories, the objection comes back, says, but it could happen. And because something seems possible, because it's a possibility, it feels like something that I need to worry about. And, of course, the reality is anything is possible. And, there's no end to the things that are possible. And we can't possibly relate to every possible outcome as if it is something that we genuinely need to think about and worry about and plan for and problem solve for. So with the catastrophizing, a lot of the work that we want to do with that is to learn to be with what is, not what if. And really bring your attention back to what do you actually know? What are the facts? What's the story that you're making up? The underlying need or the root that is behind catastrophizing is our discomfort with uncertainty. The human mind does not like uncertainty. And, the neuroscientists believe that, at one time back when we were, cave dwellers in prehistoric times, uncertainty did mean danger. If you stepped out into the unknown, you might meet a human foe, you might meet a predator. And so you had to worry about all the unknowns and try to prepare for them. But in today's world, and I always preface this, there are people who do live in today's world where that is true, where that is something that they actually do need to be mindful of. But many people live in this, discomfort with uncertainty when there are no real dangers that they're facing, attached to that.
Seems like maybe our mind or our nervous system didn't evolve like the rest of us did.
Exactly. It's a part of, it's a part of our nervous system that hasn't evolved as, our society has evolved, as our culture has evolved, as, human life has evolved.